Hello there and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to talk about Ethos or yourethos.io, a great way to get your brand out there to clients and contractors alike. But before we do, don't forget, if you've got any comments that you'd like to leave, then please place them in the comments box below. And of course, if you check the description, then you will always find a link to the software that we're talking about in the video, and maybe even get a bit of a discounted rate as well. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so here we are on the Ethos website. Now, I guess I could explain the Ethos idea in very, very short terms, but we're going to go over it all anyway. But basically what it is, it's a way to put your brand information on one site so that way anybody that you want to can access it. Now, why would you want to use this? Now, I guess the thing is that if you've got a business or you've got a brand that you want to be on form, essentially, you can upload all the information you need. So whether it be the font color, whether it be the font itself, whether it be the logos, the different logos that are possible to use, all that kind of stuff, basically, so that way anybody that you contract out, for instance, if you wanted to get an artist to, you know, do I don't know, maybe a poster for you or something like that, then you could then have the specific logos on your website, on this website essentially, so that they can then just click on it, they can go straight to the logos, they can click on them and download them, they can find out what colors to use and all that information about your brand. So that's the great thing about it. I pretty much told you it now, but we are going to walk through it so that way you can see how to use it and how easy it is. So first off, you'll sign up for a trial. You've got a free trial on there and you can get most of the features on the free trial. There are a few that they don't have, but you know, depending on what you need, you can have a paid version or you've got your free trial. And then of course here, this is where all the magic happens, so to speak. You've got your brand guidelines. Now, I've already created a couple as test subjects, that kind of thing. Now I'm going to create a new one so that way we can see it doing it from the start. So all you would do is you would go in and you would create new guideline, and then you'll see what will come up is this. Now this is basically select your brand style. So the first thing you're going to have to do is give it a name. So obviously you would use your company name here, but I will use a tester 3 because we've already done a couple of tests. Now here is the point where you choose your template. Now I will say this, the template doesn't really matter in my view. Basically what's happening is you're putting all your brand information onto one website, and this template option is a bit like going to a WordPress site and having the option to choose various themes. You know, you can choose the theme that you want to use. Now, there are only 3 themes available, and as I said, I don't think this really matters because at the end of the day, the people going to the branded area or the area you're sending them to are not going there because they want to, you know, look at your design skills or whatever. They're going there because they want to get the information that they need. So in my view, it doesn't really matter. But one thing I have found out is that they are going to have 22 or more other templates that you can choose from as well. So, but let's have a look at the templates that you can have. So if you click on the little eye just here, then you can see what we've got here. So this one is the avant-garde, and you can see that you know, there's all your brand details there. It's kind of a minimalist look to it, so that's quite nice. You've got this one here, which is the Scandinavian. So if I click on that one there, you can see this one is pretty much the same kind of idea. The only difference is that it's in black, basically. So that seems to be the only difference, and it's got a few, you know, different bells and whistles, so it's up to you which one you go for. And then finally, you've got this one here, which is the Bauhaus one, which, as you can see, is slightly off to the other side, so different things. So depending on which theme you want to use, then go with that. But as I said, it doesn't really matter in my view, because at the end of the day, the people are going there for the information. They're not going there to see what design you've chosen. So once you've done that, you can then go to save and continue. So we've gone for Scandinavian there. We've put the little click in the box. You go to save and continue, and then it will move on to the next page. Now, the next page here is the bit that normally you would fill out everything. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to fill out everything is because it would be pointless for me to fill out all my logos and my ideas and everything, because it is very specific to your company. Okay, so let's start over here. Let's go to the brand content we've already done. So let's go to the brand assets. Okay, so the brand content is, brand content we've got to start with, actually, beg your pardon. So the brand content is to add your brand tagline. So obviously whatever your tagline is for your brand, for your company, you want to add that in here. Then after that, you've got your brand story. So you're going to put your brand story, your brand values, all that kind of thing. Now, if you want to do any of this stuff, by the way, you literally just click on the box and you can start typing straight away. Okay, so it's not that difficult to do. Now, incidentally, over here, you can see we've got a checklist. And on that checklist, as you can see at the moment, it's at 0%. And it will stay at that. Having said that, let me just type in some brand story here. We'll just type in some random stuff. And then if we just put in a tagline, you can see that now that checklist has moved slightly. It's now at 25% because you've got your tagline and your story. So when you start putting this stuff in, the idea is to get all of your checklist at 100%, and that way people then know, or you know, that your brand is, is ready, essentially. It's all there and it's good. Incidentally, you can use this to create your brand as well, because you can check that checklist, and until you get to 100%, some of these things you sort of forget, really. You sort of think like, oh, I'll go with blue for the logo, or I've got my logo done, that's it, that's all I need, and that's it. And then you'll send it out to a designer, and then they'll say, okay, what's the font, what's the color, what's the thing, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't even think of this. So the good thing is that you can use this site itself to actually decide on your branding specifics, which I think is really, really cool as well. So therefore, you go through all that. You basically go through adding your mission statement, adding your brand positioning statement, add your brand hashtags, everything that you can think of right there, or just literally fill in all those boxes. Then the next one is your brand assets. So you'll go on your brand assets and you will upload your brand logo. You'll upload your brand tagline. You'll upload all those things. Now to upload is super simple. All you have to do is click on this box here. And then once you thing comes up, as usual, with the downloads thing. So therefore that goes to my downloads folder, and you can just simply click on your thing and add it into there. Simple as that, really. So it's nice and easy. Or you can even drag and drop as well if you're feeling in the mood to do that as well. Your brand logo, your tagline, you upload your brand icon, your brand word marks, subsidiary logos, all these kind of things basically are things that that you might not think about. But when you see them here in the text ready to go, you know that you've got to put them, or you may already have all these things done. Many companies that I work for have one brand logo, and then they have a slightly different version of that brand logo. If you look at many companies out there, all of them have the same thing. So that will be your different logos you could use, and then the person who you're sending it to, they don't have to go, oh, well, which logo shall I use? They know that this is the primary, this is the secondary. You can use either one, but there'll be certain guidelines as well, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so this is your brand style, and on the brand style, you can see we've got add primary colors. So if you want to add a color, now this will be the color that obviously you will use in your business all the time. So therefore, if you know what it is straight away, you can use the hexadecimal. So you just hit the add button there, use the hexadecimal for it. If you don't know what it is, don't worry, just click on the color itself, and then this box will pop up, which allows you to choose your color. So let's say we went for a red like that. Then you can see that the brand, or the number, the hexadecimal, is E23232, which basically means that now somebody will know every time that when they go to your, to look at your branding here, they will know what color you use. So they can simply put into Photoshop or wherever they're going to do, whatever they're doing, that exact number and that color will be used. And then that way you haven't got this whole thing of, someone designing something for you and it coming back a different slight red than what it should be or whatever, because the colors are clearly there and they can just use the exact colors that you sent them basically. So it's nice and easy. You've got your secondary colors, you've got all that kind of stuff, your brand colors, your monotone colors, all this stuff basically you need to think about for your brand. And if you've got it already, then perfect. You just upload it in there and you know exactly what you're doing. And finally, we've got the brand rules. Now, in the brand rules, this is where you will upload your brand logos, your do's and don'ts. I spoke a little bit about this just before, but basically in this one, what you will do is you will basically put all the rules that you want them to follow. So for instance, just as a kind of a bad example, but you might want your logo always in the corner of something, but never blown up behind somebody, because obviously, you just don't want that as your brand. So therefore, you will put that information in this section here as your brand rules, and then that way people will know exactly when they're designing for you, or whatever they're doing, they will know exactly what they can and can't do. So you will basically fill out all of these logo do's and don'ts, and your brand logo do's and don'ts, and your brand icon do's and don'ts, etc, etc, etc. And then once all that's filled out, then basically that means that your checklist on all of them will be at 100%. So that's what your aim is, so that way, as I said, you can use this if you want as a way to figure out if your brand is up to form or up to par, or you can, if you've already got all this stuff, you're uploading it so that way it's all in one place so that people can access it. And incidentally, once they access it, I'll show you what it looks like. So let's go down here. So basically you will go to save and exit. So therefore we have now saved and exited. Okay. And then once you've done that, it then comes up in your thing as a brand that you've created. So in this case, I've created 4 different ones. I was doing it as a tester just to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And obviously you can see here, as soon as it loads, that there will be 4 different ones. All you would do is you would choose the one you want. So in this case, you can go copy URL. You can also go share. So you can share it on your, your social medias, that kind of thing. Obviously you can edit it, you can delete it, you can view it. So you can just have a look at it yourself like you did just then. But if you copy URL, then all you have to do is basically send that URL to someone. So in this case, let's go to a new one of these. We'll paste it in there, and we'll hit the button. And then what will happen is now it will come up as the exact branding that you've put. So this will be the URL that you will send to someone. Here is the thing here. We use this specific style, as you can see. Now, the only thing we've got there is got the content, the identity, the style, and the rules. I believe I wrote something in the content. I don't think I put anything else. Oh no, I didn't even write anything in the content, so I didn't write anything in any of them. But wait, is this number 3 or is this? Oh, this is test. That's why this isn't tester 3. So in tester 3, obviously we wrote some information. So let's see if we can just so you can see what that looks like. There we go. So basically, all you do is you share that, and then we should see some some funny little. There you go. Oh, it's completely changed. There we go. So and then they would click on this button here, for instance, to get your content, and you can see there's the tagline. USD just Duke. It's very, very important, that tagline. You've got to remember it. And then you've got your story there. So that's the only ones that we put in. But then you can see here that's really cool is there's an option to copy it. So they don't have to, type out your tagline or anything like that. They can literally just hit the button to copy it. And that exact same thing as well with the identity. Now, there's no content added at the moment, but if I was to fill that up with my brand logo and all that kind of thing, they can literally just click on it and download it automatically. There's the primary colors. You can see as soon as you scan over it, you can see exactly what one it is. And you can even copy that and go straight to Photoshop or whatever, stick it in there, and you've got it straight like that. So yeah, it's a really cool little program, and I think that's pretty much it for your ethos.io. So there you are, that is the end of this video for today, but thank you very much for joining me. One thing I like about the software a lot is the fact that obviously everything is in the one place, and that's great because I can't count the amount of times that I've had to send out to clients, zip files in emails, that kind of thing. And the thing is that when you send out a zip file, it doesn't always get to them, sometimes goes to the trash because you're adding files onto the thing. With this, you literally put all of your brand identity in one place, and then they can use all of that information to be able to create the thing that you want them to create. Or even better, if you haven't got a brand identity, you can use this site to actually design your brand identity. I know personally I'm going to be going to this site a lot more, and I'm going to be putting all of my details on it so that way I can just see how my brand is. All these things that you forget, just like even just about the rules of what you can and can't do, you sort of forget these little things. Now, incidentally, you don't have to put every single thing, but if you make it 100% on all of the things across the board, then at least you know that your brand is solid. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. As always, don't forget to pop a comment in the box below and like the video for us. Smash that like so that way more people get to see this video. And as always, if you like the content, make sure to subscribe as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.